Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B, a.k.a. the 110 Soldier. So many things, as always, to get into. We got WNBA Rookie of the Year race, a big rematch, baseball stuff, but I got to kick things off with the kickoff that's almost here. NFL season is almost upon us. Thursday, September 5th, we got the Ravens and the Chiefs getting it on. And so, to start the season off, we always have to get into our projections, our predictions, and all that. And I'm going to go ahead and join into the group. But, to me, look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The playoff predictions and projections a lot to me is kind of like masturbation.
Go away, Baton.
It's satisfying to the person who did all the work, but to everyone else, I don't know how much you want to see or hear about it. But I digress. It's still worth discussing, so let's do it. I'll start off with the AFC and my playoff predictions.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
So kick this one off here for me, Mateo, at number one. AFC, I'm going to go at number one, the Kansas City Chiefs, because they're the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going for their third Super Bowl straight. They're now going for their ninth AFC title, West win in a row. They've added wide receivers. I mean, look, they won the Super Bowl on a down year. I can't sit here and say, it gets boring, but sometimes it's the Patriots all over again with Tom Brady and Belichick of like, dude, until they lose, I'm going to keep predicting them to be first and to win their division. So I got the Chiefs at one. They added Brown. They added Worthy. I wonder if Mahomes might be a little bit pissed off because they put him at number 4 as far as all the NFL players listed as top 100. He got to 4th. And he should arguably be number 1 every single year. Their defense really helped them out last year. They got that coordinator, Spagnuolo. He's a stud. Mahomes is a stud. Reed's still there. They added wide receivers. They look ready to go. Kelsey's got Taylor and new money from his podcast, and he's, they're ready to rock, so I got the Chiefs at 1. Moving on, this is one of my bigger ones, and I think this is one of my bigger predictions, and this is just maybe because I'm a fan, but I got the Texans at 2. I got the Texans will be the number 2 seed at the end of the season in the AFC because A, I'm a fan. B, the AFC South to me looks weak. C, CJ Stroud, who's a stud, is number 2 in the MVP race right now, according to all odds, only behind Patrick Mahomes. I will always go with the rule that if you have a great quarterback and a great coach, those are the 2 most things you need that are most important. And to me, CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans definitely check both those boxes. They added wide receiver Stephon Diggs, which I think is huge, to go along with Collins and Tank Dell, who, thank God he came back from his gunshot wound in the offseason, but that's a whole other story. They said he's good and he's ready to go. They added their running back Mixon. They added Hunter in the pass rush to go along with Anderson Jr. This is a team in a division that I think, only has one other threat in it. And again, I love their coach. I love their quarterback. I love what they did in the offseason. I got the Texans at 2. At number 3, I'm going to go with the Ravens, and only because I still trust Lamar Jackson, the 2-time MVP. Because, other than that, they lost their defensive coordinator, and I don't care what anybody says, losing coordinators is important. Go back and look historically. It's a big thing to lose your coordinators. They lost their defensive coordinator, McDonald. There's concern with their offensive line, and Lord knows Jackson could always use protection. Hopefully they drafted well to replace who they lost. Their tight end, Andrews, is hopefully going to have more of the year that we're used to as well. But the AFC North is tough, man. And, Jackson is the 2-time MVP. He still is a stud. He still is looking and has things to prove. So I'll still put them to win their division. I got them at 3. At 4, I'm going with the Jets, and I blame the media. Congratulations. You've got me to buy into their bullshit. Thanks to all these strong New York and LA medias who always promote their teams. They had told me, Jets. Fine. Let's go ahead and put the Jets up to win their division and get 4th into the playoffs. The Bills, their biggest rival, lost Diggs. They lost Davis. They lost White. They lost Hyde. Aaron Rodgers, is doing ayahuasca and God knows what else. And he's 40 years old and he's coming off an Achilles tear, but he still is, Aaron Rodgers. And, after what happened last season, they did the smart thing and helped out their offensive line, added Tyron Smith. I think that was smart. Their defense is always, very strong, top 10 under Saleh. You added Williams. You got Garrett Wilson. So fine. You guys made me buy into it. What the hell? Let's go with the 40-year-old ayahuascan crazy person and the team that's had, just bad luck for years and years and years. I got the Jets at 4th place. In 5th, this is where I put the Buffalo Bills because, again, other than an Allen we trust, who kind of reminds me of Andrew Luck, of the idea that, boy, Andrew was good, and then we kept waiting for that next we just kept waiting for and it just never hit. And I kind of sometimes wonder with Josh Allen, is he kind of Andrew Luck 2.0? But in Allen we trust because, again, no Diggs, no Gabe Davis. You got guys like Kincaid, Coleman, and Samuel at wide receiver. We'll see how they do. The coach, McDermott, did say this is the best O-line he's had since his tenure, so that should be important for a guy like Allen and maybe some, new receivers and not having Stephon as a security blanket to rely on there. Von Miller is older, but maybe he has a resurgence. So I got y'all as a wide wild card, but I don't have you winning the division. I just think you've lost too much, and there's too many things that are still in play for me to put you any higher than that. At number 6, same reasons, Cincinnati Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. I hate his Slim Shady haircut, but other than that, I've loved Joey B coming out of LSU and been a Bengals fan ever since, going back to their Super Bowl appearance. But, I mean, talk about a team in turmoil. You got, he's a Burrow's coming off the injury. You got Jamar Chase pissed off. He's not participating right now because of contract disputes. You got T. Higgins pissed off because he's been franchise tagged, so he might not be, at least fully as invested as he should be. You lost your offensive coordinator. Again, I'll keep stressing about losing coordinators and Callahan. The defense last year sucked ass out loud. They were dead last in the league, by the way, in yards per play. They lost Reader. So other than, again, having Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and a history recently, me seeing you do well, I still got you in the playoffs, but you got a lot of things to worry about here. I got the Bengals at 6. At 7, because, again, I got the Texans at 2. I'm going to put the Jaguars at the very last wild card spot in 7. And Trevor Lawrence is paid. He did get his big boy money. I want to say he got like $275 million. He's like the highest paid quarterback in the league now. So Trevor got paid, his store haircut and everything else, and he's healthy and ready to go. I don't see Jacksonville. You got to remember they were doing really well until the last part of the season when he was hurt, and then they went on that 1-5 slide. I don't predict that to happen again after their 8-3 start. They did add Gabe Davis from Buffalo, the wide receiver. On defense, Armstead and Savage there. That now means the Jaguars have 5 first-round picks on defense. They got a new defensive coordinator in Nielsen. So they're good, and I know a lot of people have them winning the AFC South, but I'm a Texans fan, so I got them above them, so I got to put the Jacksonville Jaguars all the way down to 7 in the wild card. Maybe they can move up to 5 or 7. Again, this is predictions. This is just, this isn't set in stone, so don't come back, 16 weeks later and get up my ass about this. This is what I have. This is where I got them at. I got the Chiefs winning on the AFC side because, again, I'm not picking against Kansas City Chiefs ever in the same way I learned after a while with Belichick and Brady. Just don't pick against them. Wait till they lose or wait till they retire before you start picking somebody else. The Chiefs are going for their 3rd Super Bowl in a row. They still got Mahomes. They still got Reed. They still got Kelsey. They added wide receivers. I'm going with Kansas City to win the AFC. On the other side, as I get into more predictions here, let's go to the NFC, Mateo. And at first, another team in turmoil, but I'll give them, because of their historical record and being able to do well in turmoil, I'll still put San Francisco 49ers at 1, even though, Ayuk is pissed off. He's still in a contract holdout, and now with CD getting his money, we'll see how that goes. Trent Williams is in a holdout. Brock Purdy supposedly has had struggles in the preseason. The NFC West is a tough division. You got the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals. McCaffrey, who's always a little bit injury concerned, has a calf thing already, but this is still the team that just came off a Super Bowl overtime loss that almost won that Super Bowl against one of the best teams we've ever seen, or at least, historically, the Chiefs. They've now been to 3 straight NFC title games, and they were in turmoil and disruption and all that all the time during those times too. So I'm not going to go against history here. I'll go with San Francisco at 1. I have Detroit at 2, and only because I'm too chicken shit to put them at 1 because I'm scared of the logo. I'm just not used to seeing the Detroit Lions and putting them up as like, oh, they're a top 2 team in the NFC. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably have them above San Francisco because they don't have any of the problems San Francisco has. They're happy, they're healthy, they're good to go, and they might arguably have the best roster in the NFL. They have great momentum. They have an amazing head coach in Campbell. You got Jared Goff going with, Amon-Ra, who's just an absolute stud, Laporta, Williams, Montgomery, and this is a fun little fact. 14 of their 17 games this year will be not outdoors. They'll be in a dome somewhere, which is always better for a heavy passing attack. So, a lot of things are going finally in Detroit's favor. I would put the Lions at 1 if I wasn't such a chicken and just scared of seeing the Lions and being like, dude, have them picked to go to the Super Bowl? Historically, that seems wrong, but I got them going, really got a good chance this year. At 3, the Eagles, and there's a main reason for this, and the idea for me is that most likely they'll once again get off to a great start, and then most likely you'll forget all these projections I've made, and then once they go on their slide, I'll be able to join the rest of the people that said, oh, they look good to begin with. Philadelphia, in the last couple of years, boy, they start off just hot as hell and then just fumble it at the end. But adding Saquon Barkley, that's big. I really think that's a big addition there. Goal line and 3rd down now, you got Hurts and Barkley. That's hell. on a defense. And this is already a team that like to, push it and do everything else. They're already good in short yardage. Now you got Barkley to go along with Hurts and everything else on their short yardage plays. They should be a really tough team, even with their new offensive coordinator, who is, the former Cowboys offensive coordinator, their division rival. So, and adding Kellen Moore, he's new, but he knows a lot about their biggest rival in their division. So I got them above the Cowboys for that and a lot of other reasons. They did lose Travis Kelce. They did lose Fletcher Cox. I mean, that's the heart and soul of your offense and your defense. There's a lot of things that they need to figure out. But with the addition of Barkley, and because they usually get off to a hot start, I'll still put the Philadelphia Eagles to go ahead, not the Phillies, to get into the third spot in their division there, or at least first in their division, third in the NFC. At number 4, I'm going to give Kirk Cousins some love. I don't know if I should.
You like that? You like that?
Look, he's the king of the week, and in the NFC South, maybe that's enough for the Falcons to go ahead and move up, so I got them at 4, signing Kirk Cousins. Google the records. He only seems to feast against sub-500 teams, but he should have a chance to play a lot of sub-500 teams. I don't have the NFC South being a very good division this year anyways, other than maybe Tampa. Shout out Baker Mayfield. I'm always rooting for you, but you're as hit or miss as they get. They got receivers like Drake London. They got Bijan Robinson at running back. Pitts. Penix, I thought was actually a smart pick, putting him at the backup spot at 8. They now have their new head coach, Raheem Morris, the former Rams defensive coordinator. He should be able to figure out the defensive side of the ball. So in a weak division, why not? I got the Falcons at 4. At 5, speaking of the Rams, I got the Rams. I got the Rams right here at number 5, first wild card. Google that 80s video. That's hilarious. The NFC West is tough, but they do have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Both have injury issues, and Puka already has an injury concern. However, they have Higbee back as well. They're tight end from injury. Robinson at wide receiver. They beefed up their running backs with Jackson and Dotson. Sean McVay is a damn genius. Stafford is still a stud. They did lose Aaron Donald. They did lose, of course, Morris now to the Falcons as their coordinator. But they're a good team, and I think that they'll do quite well for themselves, at least make the wild card. I got the Rams at 5. I got to keep playing the song. Gotta love 80s, Super Bowl shuffle and all that shit. Number 6, and I'm being nice with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm being nice with you guys, and I'm going to talk about you guys in just a little bit more in a second here. But basically, the CD debacle is over, thank God. You just paid him yesterday. But, you got a tough start to the schedule. I think the Eagles, again, are going to be very good this year in your own division. Your running back position, you signed Dalvin Cook and brought back, Ezekiel Elliott 2 years after you let him go. Congratulations, I guess, at a spot that you said needed improvement in the running game. The offensive line, you've lost Smith. You lost your center. Hopefully the rookies can do something with that. Dak and McCarthy are both in weird limbo years. This might be their last years for both your head coach and your quarterback. Your defensive coordinator and Quinn is gone. Micah Parsons is still there, and hopefully that's still a top 5 to maybe number 1 defense. But there's so many questions around Dallas in what was supposed to be an all-in season. I'll get back to you guys, but I got you barely making the wild card at 6. And again, I'm being friendly. And then at 7, this is one I've talked about, ad nauseum at this point, the Bears and Caleb Williams.
The Bears.
I really do think they're going to make a nice push this year. Caleb Williams is for real. I don't care if it was just 2 preseason games. I saw what I needed to see. Adding Aduzze, adding Allen, along with Moore. And then you got Kmet, you got DeAndre Swift. They said this is the best offensive line they've had in a very long time. They added Sweat to the defense. That's huge. They're the new Texans to me. Only difference is that people can see them coming would be my only reason to say anything different. But, Texans kind of surprised everybody. Chicago, between Caleb and Hard Knocks, is not going to surprise anybody, but I still think they're going to be a threat, and I think they sneak into the last spot in the wild card. So there you go. I got them at 7. There's my projections. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and go with my gut. I'm going to have Detroit and then lose to Kansas City in the Super Bowl. So there are my NFL predictions for the season.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
I don't know how useful they are. And none of this shit ever turns out the way it's supposed to, but there you go. Hopefully at least gave some decent reasons. Getting back to the Dallas Cowboys. Go ahead and hit this next one here for me, Mateo. I did this one a couple weeks ago, but buckle up, Cowboys. You're not even You're not even the best team in Texas anymore, and it's not even close. And it's interesting that they're going to play each other this year in the regular season as well. I think Texans are really going to establish dominance as the new Texas team as far as, success-wise, because, oh boy, buckle up. I think you guys are in for a rough year. This all-in, quote-unquote, offseason just went to complete hell. I really don't think it's impressive because Jerry Jones historically has made a lot of interesting, decisions in the offseason, had some very interesting, between successful seasons and things that he's made and things that he's done.
I want me some glory hole.
This was an all-in offseason from hell. I mean, you lost your left tackle. Again, you lost your center. You got rookies to replace him. You brought back Zeke after you let him go like 2 years ago. You don't have Van Der Esch anymore. You don't have Gallup. Again, Dak, you're going to have to either pay him big boy money or let him go. McCarthy seemed to be a lame duck coach that for some reason Jerry just keeps bringing back. The 12-5s, I get it. They keep being 12-5, but they don't win scrap in the playoffs, so I don't know why. He does, once again, kind of the Garrett thing all over again. They got a great defense. They lucked into a great kicker, but, the Dallas Cowboys, in order to not be the team that no longer is the ruler of Texas, because Texans are coming up with a bullet, man. You need luck. You need health. And you need wide receiver CeeDee Lamb to not only stay healthy, but be able to get up and start from the beginning because your schedule is tough. And I don't know what, man, that was the weirdest of all the things Jerry Jones did in a very bad offseason. Just finally paying CeeDee Lamb yesterday. What are you doing?
I am a dumb.
What are you doing? I called it CeeDee's nuts, but you guys got to be nuts. You knew you were going to re-sign CeeDee Lamb. So yes, they finally did it. They re-signed him just yesterday. They announced this to a 4-year, $136 million deal. Second highest paid non-quarterback, second highest paid wide receiver now at $34 million per year. But he's already missed all the preseason. He's already missed all the OTAs because Jerry said he, quote, didn't have an urgency to do it. And not only was it stupid because you pissed off the one-star player outside of Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons on the other side of the ball that you have, but he might not, he's going to have to probably play himself into shape. I know he said, and he released videos of him working out and doing all that nonsense. It's nothing, you cannot replace game speed. There's nothing replaced like game speed. He's going to have to adjust. It's probably going to get him, it's going to take him some time to get started. Either that or he might hurt himself because he's going to have to go from 0 to 100 real quick. And, I don't know, man. This is an interesting time to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, even more than other years where, every year Jerry puts you in some interesting situations.
I want me some glory hole.
But, the weirdest part of all this is that you knew you were going to re-sign him, and in typical Jerry fashion, because he's just this stubborn-ass redneck cowboy, he just decided, I'm going to wait until the last second like he's done with other contracts, and all he does is cost himself money. I don't get it. You could have signed. You drafted CeeDee Lamb. Everybody that I've talked to that knows anything about the NFL is like, look, you draft a guy. If he works out, by the third year, you're already talking contract extension. You hopefully get him by the fourth. You don't wait till the very end. And after, the market gets more expensive, if you know you're going to re-sign him to an extension anyways. There was no doubt, or at least there shouldn't have been, that CeeDee Lamb was going to get his contract extension. If you would have done this a year ago, or maybe, 2 years, whatever it was, you could have had him as low as like 26, 27 million. Now you had to pay him 34 when you got to still pay Dak. You still got to pay Micah. Like, you have money, you got to spend other places. But for some reason, Jerry decided to sit on his big leathery ass and wait till it was way too late. Now he's the second highest paid wide receiver in the league. So congrats to CeeDee. And he got what he needed. But still, CeeDee's nuts. You guys are insane. What were you waiting for so long to pay CeeDee for?
Cowboys bunch drive me nuts.
But then I think about it. And Cowboys fans, I think we need to talk about this. Let me go ahead and go to this next picture here, Mateo, as I get my notes right. It is Jerry Jones. Like, at some point, what's the definition of insanity other than you keep expecting something different and, from the same thing or the same result and being shocked by it? Jerry Jones now, since he bought the team in 1989, and look, he is a lot of interesting stuff, but, as a Cowboys fan, if you're a part of that nation, what did you expect, man? Well, at some point, welcome to Jerry's world, man. This is just some nuts redneck circus ringleader, King Cowboy. The dude bought the team in 1989 for $140 million. It's now worth $9 billion. He kind of lucked his way into that. A lot of people said he's both the luckiest and unluckiest sumbitch they've ever met. This is still the guy, though, that has no Super Bowl since 1996. I think we're going on year 28 without a Super Bowl victory. But, this is Jerry, man. And maybe young kids. A lot of Cowboys fans are pretty well informed. I'll at least give you that. But, for you younger guys that maybe you're looking at this offseason and some of the other decisions Jerry has made and wonder, let's get into it, man. This is Jerry Jones, king of the circus, king ringleader of...
Let me enlighten you about your new friend here, about what he's really like.
You know, even going back to his glory hole days when they were going good, man, Jerry Jones has always been a loose cannon. I am in control of everything. Nobody can tell me nothing. Fly by the seat of his pants kind of dude. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, this is, you know, you can Google all this. Children, I hope that if you're a new Cowboys fan, do me a favor and Google two things. Google a book called The Boys Will Be Boys and Google early 90s The White House. Find out what the White House means. And even when they were winning Super Bowls, talk about a circus ringleader, just how crazy Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys were. It was absolute insanity. The White House, I'll give you a brief synopsis, was this training facility or a house they had outside a training camp back in the early 90s led by, you know, king of the crazy people like Haley and Irvin at the time. And I mean, it was the biggest debauchery madhouse. They said, you know, in the book, you can read the quote of like myriads of big-breasted blondes just coming in and out of the house. They had, you know, Scarface level of cocaine.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It was just a frat house times 1,000 with all Dallas Cowboys supposedly during training camp. And I mean, you know, this is the type of stuff that Jerry knew about, endorsed, and wanted in his life and wanted to have his team and his culture somehow be about. Michael Irvin, who was, again, king of some of the cocaine and craziness.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Google Michael Irvin and a guy named Everett McIver, a former offensive lineman who made the mistake of getting in front of him in a line for a haircut, and how Michael Irvin literally stabbed him in the neck with a pair of scissors. And the only reason he didn't get in trouble is because it's the 90s and Jerry's crazy, and he ended up covering up the whole thing. Michael got like no suspension, no nothing. The poor guy McIver was like cut a year later. I mean, it was a sad story. But I mean, this dude has always been king chaos, king circus leader, king ringleader. This is just the nature and the way that he goes about things. So to see him continue to go, again, nuts with the CD contract, to see him continue to spin the wheel of Dak Prescott, and it's only getting more and more expensive, you think he would have learned if he's going to keep Dak. If he resigns Dak now, he's insane because he's doing the same thing he did with CD. You should have signed Dak a couple years ago, but all it is getting is more expensive, but he keeps spinning that wheel. It's Jerry, man. Jerry is Jerry. Jerry's always going to be Jerry.
I want me some glory hole.
It shouldn't shock me anymore, any Cowboys fan, when I look at quotes that say things, you know, and this is, again, after years of being an undisputed screw-up in offseason after offseason in a general manager job that he only got because he was the owner and he just gave it to himself. The quotes that came out yesterday or the day before, he said, he goes, I have an ordinate, I think he meant inordinate, I have an ordinate amount of confidence that if anybody can figure out how to get this shit done, I can. And that, quote, nobody's living that's out cutting and shooting that can't give you a bunch of times they busted their ass. So there's nobody that can come here and do all the contracts and be a general manager any better than I can. I don't even know exactly what that means. I don't think Jerry knows what it means half the time, but nobody can tell him what to do because he owns the team. He tells everybody else where to go. He gets to take credit for things he probably doesn't deserve, like the draft, the one thing the Dallas Cowboys do well. And, you know, he continues to screw up contract after contract after contract. He puts the Dallas into a bigger hole and hole and hole. The momentum and snowball keeps rolling. Now it looks like the Texans are actually better than the Cowboys, and it might be that way for the next few years. And all I can say is that, well, that's Jerry. That's the Cowboys. Welcome to Jerry World. This is what this dude's been about since he bought the team in 1989. So, that being said, I got one quick solution, and then I want to move on to an entirely different subject. I have a new way for the Cowboys to go into the future because, you know, winning, being productive, being smart, that's probably not where Jerry's going to get you. So, I have an idea. Let's cut to this video, Mateo. Let's embrace the circus. Go prime time. Why not? You know, instead of going ahead and extending Dak, which might actually happen to $65 million plus per year, or Mike McCarthy to another year at $4 to $7 million, why don't you just go ahead and screw the whole pooch, draft Cedric Sanders next year, and then bring on Deion Sanders as the head coach? I mean, why not? You've had 4 wins in the playoffs since the year 2000. Dak Prescott's in his 9th year. It's going to cost you $60-something million. He's been 2-5 in the playoffs. Cedric Sanders is a top prospect. He really is 6'2", 215, 69% completion rate last year. He was 27 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, even though he was the most sacked quarterback in all of college football with 52 sacks. He had the 3rd best clean pocket passing grade under only Caleb and Jayden Daniels last year. He is a good quarterback. And Deion, you know, he says that he's going to stay in college Colorado, but Deion says a lot of shit. Deion is always full of it. I mean, hell, you can go back just 2 years ago. Deion said he wasn't leaving Jackson State. He was out of there quicker, than a hiccup. So, I mean, why not? What are you actually going to worry about winning Super Bowls? Why? You haven't done it in 28 years. You've won 4 playoff wins since the year 2000. You're already part of the circus. Just embrace the circus. Why not? Go nuts. Go nuts, Cowboys.
Cowboys butts drive me nuts.
I say let Dak go. I say let McCarthy go. Bring in Shedeur Sanders. And it's really not even that crazy because if you look at like San Francisco and others, I think a young quarterback, a cheap quarterback has become the new formula as a way to win in the NFL. And he will be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks by all mock drafts taken. And then you bring on Deion, their former player, as a coach. And you bring in if anybody can handle Jerry and handle the pressure and handle Dallas, it's primetime Deion Sanders. And Shedeur loves it all too. They all love the spotlight. They all love the shine. I think it's a match made in heaven. I'm only about 62% kidding when I say this. Get rid of Dak. He's going to be too expensive. He's never really won for you anyways. Let McCarthy go. He's been a lame dunk coach for years. Go ahead and hire Deion. Draft Shedeur. Let Jerry and the circus just go full-blown crazy mode, and let's have some fun out in Dallas because who gives a shit about winning when you can have fun? Moving on. Want to talk about this next. This is a big one this Friday. One last rematch between Caitlin and Angel for the season. That's guaranteed, at least. One last rematch. So far that we know of. We're going to have one more chance here this Friday. It's going to be Caitlin and the Fever taking on Angel in the Sky. Hopefully, I don't know if this will actually decide the Rookie of the Year race. I'll get into that in just 1 second here. But, I mean, this has been a fun rivalry now going back to LSU in the college days for the last couple years. The magic and Larry of girls basketball has definitely saved the WNBA, in my opinion. And that's just not my opinion. You can look at the numbers, and they back up exactly what I'm saying. But, I mean, I hope they actually, too, are teammates in 2025. That's another thing I want to see in the Unrivaled League. They've already signed Angel, the 3-on-3, signed Caitlin, put them together. I think they actually work out very well as teammates. But everybody right now wants to talk about the Rookie of the Year, and I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I said it last week, I'll say it the week after, I'll say it till the season's over. Barring injury, Caitlin Clark is going to be Rookie of the Year. Angel fans, you got to let this one go. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to happen. Even Vegas has given it a 97% chance of happening, and Caitlin Clark is going to win Rookie of the Year, and she deserves so. Mateo, if you can go ahead and hit this video here for me. Caitlin deserves to win Rookie of the Year. It's not she's just going to win because she's, nice. It's because she's the best rookie we've seen in either sport in the NBA or WNBA in a very long time. Caitlin Clark is now 3rd in the MVP voting. F the Rookie of the Year. She's 3rd in MVP. She won't win because of A'ja Wilson, but that's besides the point. She's 1st in the WNBA in assists now at 8.2. If she averages 7.1, she will break the all-time assist record for not just rookies, WNBA history. She's now 10th in the league in scoring at 18 points per game. She's 1st in the entire league. Again, in the WNBA, not just rookies in points created, she creates 34.4 points per game out of their 82 total points scored total for the Indiana Fever. She has a single-game assist record with 19. She has the all-star game assist record with 10. She has the only rookie ever in WNBA history, so she has that to her library there. She has the most assists by any rookie already in WNBA history. She's still got like 10 games to go. She's had 21 15.15 assist game. That's the most ever by anyone in the WNBA season. She's only the 3rd rookie in WNBA or NBA history to have 29 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists on 70% true shooting. The only other ones that can even match that are Steph Curry and Michael Jordan. Again, Vegas has her at 97% chance to win. The Fever have the most wins they've had in 8 years. They are now 6th. They're going for the playoffs. They had the most win in almost a decade. I mean, look, Caitlin Clark is going to win Rookie of the Year. It's going to happen, and she deserves it. Now, the other thing I did want to throw in here, I thought this was a fun video, and we'll get to it here in just 2 seconds, but I want to point out, it's not just that she's putting up the numbers. Just like Steph Curry, and why she's so must-see TV is because Caitlin Clark is doing things that you just don't see, and Caitlin Clark might be the best long-distance shooter in the NBA or WNBA, and I actually have the numbers to back this up. Now hit this one for me here. Caitlin Clark, just so you know, hits from an average three-point distance. Caitlin Clark, of 28.09 feet. To give you an idea, the WNBA line is at 22 feet, and the NBA line is at 23.9 feet. So she shoots, on average, and makes a 3 on average from 5.9 feet behind the WNBA line and 4.2 feet behind the WNBA three-point line. Diana shoots from an average of 25.9 feet, Sabrina 26.1. Caitlin shoots on average, as you can see from the video, from 28 feet. She might be the best ever. She shoots from a longer distance on average than Steph Curry, Dame, or Trey in the NBA. There is nobody on either side of the ball on the NBA or WNBA that makes a three from an average longer distance than Caitlin freaking Clark. I don't know what else to tell you. She's exciting. She can shoot. Caitlin makes shot. Caitlin makes shot far. Caitlin makes shot from far away. Caitlin can pass too. Caitlin exciting. Caitlin is going to be Rookie of the Year. So let's just go ahead and accept it because, again, barring an injury, and she did roll her ankle the other day, that was scary, she is going to win it and she deserves to win it.
Everyone can eat a big bag of
Caitlin's winning this award. However, on the other side of this, because, again, they're going to play Friday, and I don't think no matter what happens, again, it will decide who wins Rookie of the Year. But cut to this picture here for me, Mateo. I will get into, are we hating on an Angel for no reason? And yes and no. Angel Reese has become one of the more interesting characters to me in the entire landscape of professional sports because she's starting to grow on me. And the more I think about it, it's not really fair to hate Angel Reese. It's really not.
I hate.
Yes, she would be a little brat sometimes in college and be a bully and talk some shit, but I mean, she's never been suspended that I can remember, at least for anything significant. I think she had some grade issues at LSU. She's never, been like breaking a law or like been really, she's never done anything truly dirty or awful or mean. Angel Reese can be a bully a little bit. She can rub wins in people's faces, and then she can sometimes cry victim when she loses, which can be annoying. But I mean, still, she is one of the best rebounders I've ever seen. She's won at every level she's played, and she continues to have success when people keep doubting her. I am starting to become not as much as a Caitlin fan, but Angel Reese has definitely grown on me. And so it is a little unfair, isn't it? It's unfair because she is getting a lot of hatred. And so I'm going to talk about two reasons, and I think one of them is justified and one of them is not, as far as why do we hate Angel Reese so much.
I hate.
Keeping you busy, Mateo. We're going to go to this first video. I will say it's not fair or her fault that she's a great rebounder, but she doesn't score that great or shoot that great, and she's catching a lot of flack for it. I think that's unfair. She's an all-time great rebounder already, it seems like, and is going to be one of the best ones we've ever seen. Just because she's not a great scorer doesn't mean it's fair to pick on her for that. I mean, she's number one in the WNBA, 12.9 rebounds per game. She's chasing not only double-double history all-time, but the 500 rebound points in club history as well. She is also, this is interesting to know, of the 374 rebounds she's had so far this season, Angel Reese has had 152 of them be offensive, and only 53 of those are off of her own shot. So that even goes against the main thing that I hear a lot of, that all she does is like this thing and rebound her own shot. And really, there's been great rebounders before Angel Reese that never could score a lick either, and we didn't pick on them. Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace, the people that she's starting to beat now in consecutive 20-rebound games, they couldn't score worth a damn, and we never hated on them for it. And so it's an unfair standard that because Angel is just the best rebounder in all the WNBA already as a rookie, that she's not scoring enough points, or she's not a good shooter, she's not going to hit, it's 20% from three-point line. Yes, that all may be true, but why is it, fair to pick on her for that? But it wasn't, when it came to guys like, again, Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace, and other legends and Hall of Famers that we have, and we called them great players, and they couldn't shoot to save their lives either. Why is it fair to pick on Angel? I don't think that it is, and so people need to kind of stop doing that, because she still is great, and she still is winning, and she still is contributing, and she's still doing her job. However, on the other side, I have to say this. So I'm saying it's not Angel's fault that she's not the best scorer in the world when she's still one of the greatest rebounders, right?
Look at me, son. It's not your fault.
You got to stay with me, though, Angel fans. On the other side, some of this hate is exactly all your fault. Mateo, hit this for me. Some of the hate that Angel receives, you guys need a mirror. Take a long look in the mirror. A lot of the hate that Angel receives that they pick on her because she didn't score a lot is actually all your goddamn fault.
It is absolutely 150% your fault.
Because you can't keep Caitlin Clark's name out your mouth. And that's the part where it's exactly, I'm sorry, it's people responding to your stupid comments. As Angel fans, you are so similar to LeBron fans. where when they talk about the GOAT, they can't keep NJ's name out their mouth. And it always becomes frustrating because, like, dude, why can't we just appreciate LeBron for who he is and what he's done? Stop trying to compare him to NJ. If you would stop trying to say out loud dumb comments like Angel deserves Rookie of the Year, Angel's better than Caitlin, Angel's this, Angel's that. If you would let it just be, you know what, Angel's a great rebounder. She's a winner. She's one of the best players we've seen in a long time. I love me some Angel Reese. And if you would keep Caitlin's name and the Rookie of the Year out of your mouth, you wouldn't sound so stupid. But unfortunately, you do, and then you cause people to respond to it, and that's where a lot of this hate is coming from. You can't blame us. I mean, look, Angel is not the first great player who was, any other year could have been Rookie of the Year that ran into a game changer. There's been other people who were great players that in their rookie year ran into a game changer. You think of in 1984, Michael Jordan, also in that class was Charles Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon. They ran into MJ. In 2003, Carmelo Anthony was a great player. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. He ran into LeBron James. Just last year, Chet Holmgren looks like he's going to be a very good player. He ran into Victor Wembanyama. It is not, it's not that tragic or sad or whatever, and you should be able to separate the two as an Angel fan to go, you know what, Angel's great. I love what she does. She wins, she rebounds, and if you would keep Caitlin's name and the Rookie of the Year race out of your mouth, maybe some of this hate wouldn't come your way, but unfortunately, you deserve it because every time you bring up Caitlin, you bring up Angel. Every time you bring up Angel, you bring up Caitlin, and you keep trying to compare the two, and if you can compare the two, fine, but there's no comparison. One is clearly a game changer, and one is just very good, who I'm becoming a fan of, but she's not the other one. I mean, look, the only stats that Angel has currently better than Caitlin Clark are rebounds, which we all know, and turnovers. And even that argument's bullshit because the only reason she has less turnovers is the same argument that you use to try to say why she doesn't have to score as many points or get as many assists because she doesn't have the ball as much in her hands. And so you got to pick a lane on that argument. This is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to Angel fans trying to compare it to Caitlin and saying, oh, Caitlin's got turnovers. Then you can't bring up that Caitlin has more points and assists and then use the same argument and be like, well, yeah, but she doesn't have the ball as much as Caitlin. You got to stay in one lane, and then the way that goes. The only reason you're able to justify that she doesn't have as many points, she doesn't have as many assists, because she doesn't have the ball in her hands. But then you can't say that she has less turnovers. Then you see what I'm saying? You can't flip that. You got to pick one side or the other. Either it's good that she doesn't have the ball that much in her hands because she can't dribble and she can't shoot, or it's not the reason you can say that she's a better ball handler because she technically has less turnovers than the girl in Caitlin Clark, who probably handles the ball and creates more points more than anybody else in the entire WNBA. So pick a lane and stick with it. Stop comparing her to Caitlin. Let Angel be Angel, and stop, making us do what we have to do, which is make you sound stupid and make us hate on Angel for her inability to score or create points. This is all, in a lot of ways, your own damn fault.
It is absolutely 150% your fault.
Look in the mirror. It's a lot of this you can really pin back on yourself. So either way, and let me throw this in here too. Don't even bring up, and this one is so stupid, she beat her in college. That's almost too dumb to respond to. Steph Curry didn't win when he was at Davidson. Larry Bird didn't win at Indiana State. Dwayne Wade didn't win at Marquette. I can give you winner after winner after winner who ran into someone else in college. Doesn't mean that person in college that beat them because they were on a better team is better. That's almost not even worth a response. The other part, though, is just whatever with, she turns the ball over more. Yeah, well, she doesn't score as more. That's because she doesn't have the ball. Like, sinner. Either way, they're both going to play one more time. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Go Caitlin, go Angel. Keep saving the WNBA. Keep making things worth watching. But the Rookie of the Year race is over. You guys got to let that one go. On a complete side note, or not a side note, but another sport I really haven't talked about at all, finally is getting interesting. Come on, Notes. Stay in your spot. There you go. Let's get into baseball. I want to talk some baseball stuff.
Baseball stuff!
Because I have ignored it all season because it's bored the snot out of me, and I've noticed through, all the media sites and everything else, no one really talked about baseball. Baseball has clearly fallen, unfortunately, to like the third or fourth most popular sport in America when it used to be America's pastime, and this season has been overall just kind of You got skeins, you've had a couple things here or there, but thank God for the man, put the picture up, Super Shohei, Showtime Shohei Ohtani. Japanese Babe Ruth, whatever you want to call it. This dude is it, and I have a World Series that I would not only be interested in, but that they better make happen and the world has to see. This is the only World Series worth watching. I'll present that to you in a second. But let me keep giving love to the man, Super Shohei Ohtani. This dude truly is superhuman. This kid is legit. He came in with all the hype in the world, coming from Japan. He can hit, he can pitch, he can do it all. And we're like, yeah, okay. Turns out he can't. And he continues, even in a year where his arm is hurt and he can't pitch, he is still going to be the MVP of the National League because he's not just a great pitcher. He is the best hitter without question in the National League and one of the greatest baseball players we've ever seen already. This video was insane. Cut to this here, Mateo, as he became just the 6th member in history of the 40-40 Club, but he did it in style. That's what I love about Shohei, is that he's got the showtime. That nickname works for him. He hammered his 40th home run on Friday on a walk-off grand slam. That was his first game-ending home run in the entire MLB career so far, but it also helped him join the 40-40 Club. So he does it, not just stealing his 40th bait that day. He hits a walk-off grand slam to get it done and join and be only the 6th one ever to do it. And it reminded me of the World Baseball Classic not that long ago when he was pitching against Trout. That used to be his teammate, struck him out, came in relief to do that. Certain baseball players, to be great in baseball, to me, you almost have to have like a mythic kind of quality. Mansell, Ruth, Mays, later Jeter, Bonds. Like there's almost like this kind of air of there's something different about you. There's something mythic. He has it. And he steps up in big moments. Again, he didn't just join the 40-40 Club. He did it hitting a walk-off grand slam, his first walk-off home run of his entire career. Now, he got there in 126 games. That's 21 faster than anyone else has ever gotten to the 40-40 Club. And he actually has the possibility to be the first one ever to join the 50-50 Club, which would be bananas, 50 home runs, 50 stolen base in a single season. That would be the first one to ever do it. Not to mention, just 2 years ago, he finished 4th in the Cy Young for pitching. This dude can pitch. This dude can hit. This dude lives in the moment. He's mythic. He's a stud. He's clutch. He's Shohei. He's Showtime. I love him. Love me some Shohei Ohtani. He has been perfect for baseball. He has been exactly what they needed. So, that being said, what's the World Series? Obviously, I want the Dodgers on the one side, and on the other side, hit this for me again, Mateo. This is the World Series we got to see. We got to see it. We got to see the show versus the judge. New York Yankees, LA Dodgers. This is the only World Series I better see. This actually has a good chance of happening. But on the other side of the league there, Aaron Judge, just like Shohei, is having one of the best seasons we've seen in a very long time. He now has 51 home runs in just 130 games. He's on pace to break the American League record that he just set 2 years ago with 62 home runs. He's on pace for 63. He's batting .333 right now. He has a .465 on base, .732 slugging at 32 years old. And in the month previously, in this last 21 games, he has batted .425 with 12 home runs, on his way again to maybe going to another 63 and breaking his record that he just set, home run record. He is really just as much the locked MVP in the American League side to go with Shohei, who is the lock for MVP in the National League side. So you got a locked MVP and a locked MVP, clearly the two best players in baseball. They just happen to be currently on also the two best teams in baseball. Dodgers are tied for first with Phillies right now. New York is in first, but it's all very close. And I'm sorry, all these other teams, I don't give a shit. It better be the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series, because everybody else, like the Yankees, have like the Orioles, underneath them, the Guardians and the Royals. I don't want to see the Orioles, Guardians, or Royals. Other than the Phillies, underneath the Dodgers, you have the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, the Padres. I do not want to see the Orioles versus Brewers. I do not want to see the Guardians versus Diamondbacks. I want to see the Royals versus the Padres. I want to see Shohei take on Judge. I want to see the Dodgers take on the Yankees. That's the only series worth watching. I swear to God, baseball, you're not doing that great. Fix it. I said this back, when I needed Caitlin and Angel to have the rematch in college. Don't be fair. Fix it. Do what you got to do, because this is the only World Series that truly has the ability to catch a casual fan, to get, some record-setting eyeballs. The storyline is just there. It's easy. It's easy to understand. You got the best player on the American League on this side. You got the best player in the National League on this side. They're both all-time historic. Let's see them get it on for a trophy. Who gives a damn if the Guardians and the Diamondbacks, will their way into a ragtag, no one wants to see that shit. We want to see stars. We want to see star teams. Baseball's missed this for a while. Give me the Dodgers. Give me the Yankees. And let's get that World Series. Shohei, Showtime Ohtani. Love this kid. Last thing. I think I'm probably running close on time, but let me get to this last story here. I got to do this one just for fun. Don't get to it just yet. I'm going to call this whole thing from sad to shitty, a.k.a. Along Came Lucy May. Staying in baseball, a little bit different.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
So again, we're calling this one Along Came Lucy May. So now you can play this video. So in the minor leagues, this happened just last week. For the Class A Clearwater Threshers, they retired their bat dog. Layla, after 6 years and 13 years old, was retired from the Class A Clearwater Threshers, the affiliate for the Phillies. Had her last day retrieving the bat. Wasn't that cute? Isn't that sweet? Look at Layla. What a sweetheart. What a cool story. Way to go. Who's a good girl? Who's a pretty lady? Well, the show must go on, so along came her sister, Lucy May. And Lucy's first game, she went a little different. First of all, she doesn't retrieve the bat. She starts chasing people in the outfield. And then she decides, I need to announce my presence with authority, and let me drop a deuce. Her sister, in the first game as the new bat dog, said, oh, you want a service dog? I got some soft service for you right here.
Unbelievable.
Hey, pitcher, I'm making a new mound. What do you think of that? Get your own goddamn bat.
Oh, my gosh. Crowd's going wild.
Rookies. And then she still doesn't get the bat. She keeps running off. She went off and hit the groundskeeper and had a good old time. But there you go. Oh, boy, what can I say? Rookies, you know what I mean? Stood right in front of everyone and just took a deuce. Got your mound right here, buddy. But we'll see, she's got time. And apparently the sister Layla was there to hopefully mentor her. She's still around. Maybe, Lucy May can, figure things out as time goes on. But I thought that was a fun way to end the day. Along came Lucy May, and there you go. Along came time, it looks like, which means I'll see you next time. Bye.